Ethiopia is a beautiful East African country with a lot of promising and untapped Bitcoin potential. Ethiopia is famous for its long-distance runners, and if you think of it, Bitcoin also is a little bit like running a marathon. You need a lot of endurance to go through all the ups and downs on your Bitcoin journey. Maybe this is why Ethiopia could be the next country to win the Bitcoin race and be the next country to cross the finish line. It's time to take a closer look at Ethiopia and Bitcoin. Hi local Bitcoins family, my name is Vlad and today we are taking a closer look at Ethiopia, a country that may not have yet experienced its Bitcoin moment like maybe some other countries in Africa like Kenya, Nigeria and South Africa. In this video, I will go through some of local Bitcoin statistics from Ethiopia and why buying Bitcoin on local Bitcoins might be a good idea for you watching this from Ethiopia or from anywhere else for that matter. So if crypto interests you, you are on the right channel. So don't go anywhere, Make sure to gently tap the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Wait. Just gently is enough. You don't need to break the screen or anything. Also, subscribe to Local Bitcoins TV YouTube channel and click on the bell button to know when we put out a new video. Why not also share this video with your friends in Ethiopia or with your friends anywhere in the world for that matter, so they will understand the Bitcoin situation in Ethiopia. There has been quite a big demand for Bitcoin in Ethiopia in the last few years. During last year, 2020, local Bitcoins had over 10,000 new users from Ethiopia. In 2019, we got 2,000 users from Ethiopia. So the number of new user registrations in 2020 was 5 times larger than in 2019. The trading volume in Ethiopia has also been spiking up, and a really noticeable uptick was starting to be seen from October 2020 onwards. First reaching about $4,500 worth of Bitcoin traded per month, and then doubling from that at the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021 to around $10,000 per month. The record level month in trading volume in Ethiopia so far this year was April 2021, when over $11,000 worth of Bitcoin was traded on local Bitcoin's peer-to-peer marketplace. Okay, impressive numbers. So why are Ethiopians trading Bitcoin on local Bitcoins in such large numbers? Well, the main reason I would say is the national currency of Ethiopia, the Ethiopian birr, which is suffering from a very high inflation rate. The inflation has been very high in the last 10 to 15 years. So since 2008, birr has lost 80% of its value against the US dollar. And even quite recently, since November 2019, around 30%. As of recording of this video in August 2021, the currency is actually risking hyperinflation because its annual inflation rate is over 20%. The inflation is happening partly because of the actions of the Ethiopian government that has been devaluing the birr to boost the country's export sector. Ethiopia has a huge trade deficit of over 12 billion US dollars. So devaluing the national currency might help to reduce the deficit. Now, if something is good for the government and the industry, it might not always be the best for a regular Ethiopian worker. These workers are receiving a salary in the national currency and planning to save money to possibly buy their own house in the future. Now, if the national currency is devalued, well, so are the savings of these workers. And here comes Bitcoin into play. By investing in Bitcoin, Ethiopians are taking the matters into their own hands. Instead of stuffing notes of their depreciating currency under a mattress or knitting them inside sofa pillows, you know, the old school way of saving, they are buying Bitcoin on local bitcoins. And even through owning one, or for that matter even 0.1 Bitcoin, is perhaps out of reach for many, it's possible to purchase a share of the coin by buying satoshis that are fractions of Bitcoin. We've seen a big demand for Bitcoin in Ethiopia. There have been times when the demand has been so strong that Bitcoin has been trading at a high premium on local bitcoins, with sell ads listing a much higher price compared to the spot market price of Bitcoin. What could make Bitcoin a good savings tool then for Ethiopians and people around the world? Well, first of all, Bitcoin's programmed to be scarce. Maximum of 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. That means that no single country can decide to print more Bitcoins or devalue Bitcoin for its own interests. Obviously, as we have seen, the price of Bitcoin can fluctuate quite a bit because Bitcoin is still in a phase of price discovery, and it seems that it's quite difficult for the market to price it properly. That's why we're seeing a lot of volatility in Bitcoin's price. I'm sure the tech-savvy Ethiopian Bitcoin investors also know that the amount of new Bitcoins entering the circulation drops by half every 4 years in an event known as Bitcoin halving. So the basic laws of supply and demand are at play here. If the supply of an asset gets smaller over time while the demand for that asset is growing, or even staying the same, this would mean that the value of the asset would appreciate. This is expected to happen to Bitcoin as well, since there clearly is demand for it. If you want to know more about why Bitcoin has value and owning some might be the most important decision you can make in 2021, make sure to watch this video over here. What else has been going on in Ethiopia? Well, as with the rest of the world, the global pandemic has diminished young Ethiopians' work opportunities quite drastically. As is the case with the whole African continent, the population of Ethiopia is very young and digitally native. Of the Ethiopian population, over 70% are under 27 years old, and the median age is actually only 19.5 years of age. Of the country's population, 55% is unbanked without access to traditional banking services. However, with a smartphone and internet connection, anybody can sign up to local bitcoins and get themselves a Bitcoin wallet, which can be thought of as a bank account in the digital world. According to the World Bank Group, Ethiopia is still the fastest growing economy in the African continent, with a GDP growth of 6%. Before the pandemic, it was as high as 9%, but now it's dropped to 6%. However, Ethiopia is also one of the poorest countries in Africa, with an annual per capita income of $850. Now, if you don't know, per capita income is calculated by dividing the country's total national income by its population. For this reason, trading and investing in Bitcoin for profit have become a major economic lifeline for many Ethiopians during the pandemic, and overall, swing trading seems to be one of the major use cases in Ethiopia and many other countries in East Africa. Now, inflation and macroeconomic uncertainty has led to some speculation whether the Ethiopian government would adopt Bitcoin big time, starting to mine it, making it a legal tender. This is something that a group of Ethiopian-based entrepreneurs called Project Mano is trying to promote to the Ethiopian government. Although Ethiopia is still the fastest growing economy in the African continent, its economy has suffered a lot from the pandemic. Now, the inflation of the US dollar has been something like 4 to 5% already for a few months, according to the US Consumer Price Index. This may have quite a serious impact on Ethiopia too. The National Bank of Ethiopia holds about $3 billion worth of foreign exchange reserves, of which the majority is in US dollars. This means that the Ethiopian birr is indirectly pegged to the US dollar, and if the dollar is inflating faster, it's bad news for the birr, I would say. The GDP of Ethiopia is growing at 6%, while the inflation of birr is at 24%, 4 times higher than the economic growth. That means that buying power of Ethiopians is quickly and in a quite scary way depleting against scarce assets like Bitcoin or gold. Now, in this kind of situation, adopting Bitcoin might bring some benefits to Ethiopia. Ethiopia uses a lot of hydroelectric energy. By some estimates, 90% of the country's energy consumption comes from hydroelectric sources. Maybe the government or the businesses in the country will start to use this energy to mine Bitcoin in a sustainable, environmentally friendly way. Maybe this mined Bitcoin could also be used as collateral for loans, and Ethiopia could borrow those much needed US dollars for its reserves. This might not be too far-fetched. The Ethiopian government has already shown its interest in crypto and blockchain technology by doing cooperation with a blockchain platform, Cardano, in the country's agriculture industry, and when it comes to the education experience of the country's students. Now, of course, setting up mining Bitcoin infrastructure as a government is not an easy task and requires a lot of planning. But hey, maybe starting to mine Bitcoin is a bit like preparing for a marathon, and of marathons, Ethiopians already have a lot of experience through decades. Anyway, got a question for you. Do you think Ethiopia will be the next country to adopt Bitcoin big time? Or is it gonna be some other cryptocurrency? Cardano? Or Doge? Or will the government of Ethiopia start to mine Bitcoin? Or will it be possible that, let's say, next year you could travel to Addis Ababa for holiday and pay everything during your stay with your crypto? Let us know down below in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, bye.